Winning. I've outsmarted you on a number of levels. Beta. Well, actually, King's not. Beta.
That was a hot mess inside a dumpster fire, inside a train wreck.
Keep your mouth shut. I'm going to go in there and slap your face.
You know, we're going to rise like the Phoenix. And
Get in my limousine. Ride on 85. Get in my Learjet. Woo!
Welcome to the Asterisk Conclusion podcast. You're joined by the king himself, and I am here with the Grizz. How are you doing, Grizz?
Good. It's a pre-draft week. I'm excited. There's a lot of stuff happening and rumors and players getting huge contracts. Congratulations to Hurts today. I mean, $255 million. His family set for generations. That's generational wealth. But it's fun times right now.
Oof, that is sounds like LTD money right there. That's for sure.
I don't know if he's in LTD's ballpark yet.
Yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, maybe if you combine him and Mahomes, then you got some LTD.
That's right.
Well, dude, like what we're gonna do is finish out the last 22 picks or 21 picks for the NFL draft or mock draft this year. What do you say to that?
Yeah, number 11, we have Al Murphy, Tennessee Titans. They're a weird team right now. They had, in my opinion, a bad year, and they're looking to unload Derrick Henry. This is another spot we talked about before. I could see the running back from Texas, Robinson, going there particularly. I think he's going to be a hot commodity. I just can't figure out where he's going to go, but if I had to put my bottom dollar on it, I think they would probably go more and try to address their offensive line. So I had them taking Broderick Jones out of Uga. I think he's more of a right tackle, but he's a stud, and I think he'll be a good pick and a good player for years.
I agree. I mean, they let go of Taylor Lewan, and didn't they, like a few years ago, have like another right tackle that was really good that they lost in free agency? So their offensive line, they need to rebuild, period. So I think there's actually a few different ways they can go, but offensive line, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, he's just a solid tackle. I'd be surprised to see him slip out of the top 15, but I haven't compared to like Dwayne Brown and Tunsil. I think he'll just be a good starter for a number of years.
I hear that. Well, let's hop off to number 12, the Houston Texans. They got this pick from the Cleveland Browns. With the Deshaun Watson deal. Who you got them taking on this?
I'm actually looking at my list here. I think I sent you, I'm not sure if I sent you an updated version, but we can just go off what I have here. This is a player who I am questioning a lot. I just don't know what he is. I have heard some rumors that particularly that a lot of wide receivers will not go around one. And I don't know. I mean, like I said, I feel like I'm a mess. I could have sworn I sent you something.
I believe I'm not sure if I'm looking at your latest one or not, but I'll tell you what, you can send it to me after the pod, and I'll certainly update whatever.
But we have I have Quentin Johnson here, and this was done a week and a half ago, but I think he's going to fall down. I think he is this year's quintessential big-time boomer bust prospect. I mean, he is with TCU, had a great year, and he's their best player, I think, on the team. He has got those type of attributes you really like. He has that Andre Johnson, Kevin White physique, and which one is he going to be, Andre Johnson or Kevin White? I mean, he is just that kind of player to me. I don't know what he's going to do.
I mean, yeah, he looks like me right here. Yeah. I mean, nah, he's going to be he's obviously one of the top receivers, but I'm not in love with him. I like a few other receivers to have a better career than him, but hey, who knows? I mean, we're obviously on a podcast, not in the front office.
Yeah, he's got that size you like, and he can do a lot of different things. And he played his stats are ridiculous. But we'll just get down to it. I mean, there's a couple other wide receivers. It's kind of fun to talk about these other guys. I did take some of these wide receivers out of my draft, and like I said, this is a great tight end class, and you may see 2 or 3 tight ends sneaking through the first round, and I don't have any in my first round here right now. But my next pick here, I had the New York Jets taking Peter Skoronski, the offensive tackle / guard out of Northwestern.
Mm-hmm.
They said he's got really short arms, but he said he's a technician. I have him compared to like David DeCastro and Zach Martin. He's the guy who's going to be around the league for 10 years, but I don't know if he's going to be he's not going to be a left tackle. He's either going to be a guard or a right tackle.
Yeah.
And it depends what kind of scheme you're running. If you're a run-oriented team, the NFL is more of a pass-oriented team. So I just don't know what he really is, but I do think he is a player that should not fall out of the top 20.
Let me ask you this. Like few picks earlier with the Tennessee Titans, you mentioned Broderick Jones. Do you prefer Jones over Skronsky?
Yeah, I just from a tackle standpoint, yes. But we could be proven there are tackles that do have shorter arms, but not a lot. You want your tackles to be really long and strong and big hands. And I think Broderick Jones and Paris from Ohio State, they really have those top attributes and physical abilities more than Peter. But like I said, I think Peter's more of a guard, and you don't see a lot of guards going too early.
Yeah, Peter, what a letdown.
Don't get the commit started.
All right, let's jump to number 14, New England Patriots. Who you got going there?
The Patriots are, I mean, honestly, I think Belichick is running that place, and they'd make some odd choices during draft day. And if I had to go with it right now, I think they're going to take a cornerback. I have him taking Witherspoon right now out of Illinois. There's some things I like about him. He's a baller. He played ball at Illinois, which is awful. They're not a very good program, and he's kind of a bit undersized. He's a little bit skinny, frail, but he plays the complete game. But I'm not sure who the top cornerback is. I mean, Joey Porter is nasty. Christian Gonzalez out of Oregon is pretty nasty. There's a couple other guys. Like I think there will be at least 5 cornerbacks going first round, maybe even 6.
Okay.
But right now, I have the Patriots taking a cornerback, Witherspoon out of Illinois.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I haven't been a fan of the Patriots front office for quite a while. I feel like Tom Brady erased a lot of mistakes for them over the years, just being there, taking less money, being able to bring in valuable free agents, et cetera, like that. And that's why they were so dominant for so long. But I'll tell you what, that you're right. Like the Patriots make some wonky picks, and I don't see a lot of them panning out.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know what they're going to. I'm looking at the value of the draft at that point, and thinking about how they operate, and Bill being a defensive guy, I think they're going to take a corner.
Nah,
I mean, he seems like they kind of fit. Like he looks like a Patriots kind of guy, which leads on to my next pick. We'll keep rolling through this because there's so many picks to go through.
Oh yeah,
we got the Green Bay Packers, the stupidest team in the NFL. And again, I know you hate their front office too, but I got them taking Joey Porter Jr. out of Penn State. We know his dad played for the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
He's got that football bloodline, but I think Porter will be a solid pro. He played good ball at Penn State. I think he's a plug and play day one starter. And I think he's pretty safe.
So you don't think they're going to go wide receiver, despite the fact that unless I'm mistaken, they don't have anyone.
Well, it's not a good position, in my opinion, there at the draft. I mean, I've heard so many things about Green Bay. I don't know what to believe. Who knows what they're going to do? I mean, they won 8 games with Rodgers, and I think without Rodgers, they're 4 wins worse. So, I mean, do you think Courtney Love's going to turn it on? I don't.
No,
I just don't.
No, dude. Courtney Love, I love that.
What's his name?
Something Love, Jared Love.
That just popped out of my mouth. But they got 2 good running backs. They're going to have to run the ball like crazy. And I mean, Watson turned it on, and Romeo Dobbs is pretty. I think he's got a high ceiling. So I don't think wide receiver for the Packers is something that's going to make them any better this year. I would address the defense.
Gotcha.
Their defense isn't bad, really.
Well, let's jump to pick 16. And if people remember, this is actually it looks like you have the Bears trading back down previously. So this is the Bears pick right here.
I do think there's a really strong chance. There's been talk with the Pittsburgh Steelers and Washington wanting to trade up. So Chase Young is a guy they put on the block, and the Steelers are rumored to want to go after Jalen Carter, the defensive tackle out of Georgia. So you're going to see it, and we got the running back out of Texas. So there's going to be a number of teams trying to get into the top 10, I believe. And I think the Bears are right at that place in time where it's just pivotal. So I do think the Bears will move back. And right now I have them at 16. And if they trade back, I have them going after the best defensive lineman available or the best offensive tackle available. So to me, it's a toss up. But in this draft, I have them going after the defensive tackle, I think is the best pass rusher, interior lineman in the draft, Cansey out of Pitt. He's kind of like an Aaron Donald clone. He's not huge. He's 280. Good. He's really strong, but he ran like a 4.4 high or something. He's like stupid fast.
Yeah, he's an insanely fast guy I think not that set the record, but he tied whatever Aaron Darnold did. That was
He's actually faster. But if you watch his tape, I was watching his tape after the combine. I was like, who is this guy? His tape is pretty nasty. I mean, he puts a lot of licks on quarterbacks and gets in the backfield real quick.
Yeah, it'd be a solid pick for the Bears. Hey, who knows? Maybe they trade back even again. Just keep trading back, right?
Well, you don't want to trade back too much, but I don't think this is a draft that's got a lot of top tier talent at the top. Next year it will be, and I have no problem with the Bears staying in the teams in this draft, like the later teams. Which gets to my next pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers taking Christian Gonzalez. I mean, he's got a lot he's like 6'2", 6'3", runs well. He was a transfer out of Colorado and played for Oregon last year. So I don't really know what to make of a guy like that. He's kind of got a little bit of boomer bust because he's kind of got that tweener ability between a safety and a corner. He had a really nice year last year. And that's why I had him kind of compared to Rod Woodson. And I just don't. I do think Christian Gonzalez will go higher than 17. It depends when cornerbacks start going, especially this draft. You're going to see them going quick. They're going to go off. I bet you see about 5 corners going to top 25.
Okay, I mean it would be a good. Bills need some kind of juice, in my opinion. It was funny. I heard a joke today that not the Bills, Steelers.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah, don't worry, we'll get to the Bills. The Steelers, maybe picks it up this year and like becomes like that top half quarterback of the league, because right now a lot of people haven't projected the bottom. I don't know. I mean, I might see them like try to build around Pickett and go with like maybe some sort of offensive lineman or even a tight end of some sort or receiver. I don't know, but something to kind of give them some.
I think their coach will be fired or he'll be let go in a year or two. I just don't think it's so hard to be good consistently and to get a top tier franchise quarterback, and every team try to pretend like they got one. I don't think Pickett's that good or ever going to be that good. I think the Steelers are just going to be mediocre for 2 or 3 years, and they're going to make major changes. I just don't see them doing anything for a while.
Gotcha.
And their division's good too.
That is true. Well, let's hop on to number 18. Speaking of divisions, the Chicago Bears division and the Detroit Lions are on the clock.
It's funny because I have them picking Miles Murphy, the Clemson defensive end, and then I have them turning around and drafting Bryce Breesy, his teammate, who's a defensive tackle. He's been hurt, but he's got a high ceiling. He's a big frame. He runs well. He's very athletic. I have him compared to Richard Seymour in terms of his top attributes of what he could possibly be, but I think he will be a good pro if healthy.
Yeah, the thing is, if healthy, very dominant player. I think he might have been the number 1 high school player coming out when he graduated. Certainly near the top. And when he played for Clemson, he was dominant. It was constantly hurt. I've been seeing reports he might even slip out of the first round. But if the Lions take him and they take Miles Murphy, and with Aiden from last year, I mean, you would have, could possibly have a young, dominant defensive line, and that would be very scary in that division.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing that they got gashed last year in the middle. So, I mean, if like I said, that defensive end out of Michigan's good, and they pair him with some guys, it didn't have to be the first round. They can go after guys in the first 2 or 3 rounds and get him some help. So I look for the Detroit to address the defensive line this draft. And I think Breesy would be a solid pick. But again, you're probably right. I wouldn't be surprised. We don't know this guy's injury report. These guys they see everything. And if he is hurt and they are concerned about that, he could slip around too easily.
Oh yeah. Well, let's talk about pick 19, Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the clock.
Now, this one kind of makes sense, but like I said, I don't think he'll go this late. And we don't like running backs in the first round, but it makes a lot of sense. Fournette's out of Tampa Bay. And I mean, I thought about this for a long time. Tampa Bay is going to be terrible, and they're going to need a player that people are going to want to see. And what do you do if you're going to try to put people in seats? You want to get an offensive guy like an Adrian Peterson or an LT. I think Bijan Robinson out of Texas would put people. I'd want to see him play if I was a fan.
Well, man, you mean you don't want to see Baker Mayfield?
Yeah, I mean that's a really weird team. I think actually after the draft, when training camp starts, they're going to cut bait with so many players, and they're looking to trade White already, or he's, I guess, requesting a trade. So Robinson's the complete package. He can run hard. He can be a home run threat. He catches the ball well. I have him compared to LT and Marshall Faulk. I think he will make a lot of noise, and he will be the #1 rookie in fantasy football this year, or at least drafted. He'll be the first-round draft pick.
Oof, you heard it here first, folks. The Grizz never lies. Well, let's jump into pick 20, Seattle Seahawks.
Another corner. I think this makes a lot of sense what the Seahawks are doing, that physicality. They got a good coach there. I hadn't taken Cam Smith. He's a very physical corner, and I think he's compared to Kyle Fuller. And again, like you're going to see about 4 or 5 corners, and I think a lot of them will have pretty good careers. I'd be surprised to see him be a bust. He had a good combine.
Well, it's a pass-happy league. I mean, having good corners are like a defensive staple. I mean, pass rush and good corners. The rest,
yeah. You look at the draft, though, we're trying to make sense out of things, and a lot of times it's like practical knowledge. Like you just see these guys, and you think about what team needs are, but teams aren't always going to draft what their needs are. They're going to draft the best players. So, like this next pick here, they got the Los Angeles Chargers, and they were a huge disappointment, in my opinion. And there's another team. You talk about all these running back issues across the league. I mean, like Dallas Cowboys, Elliott's gone. Dalvin Cook's going to be cut or traded, and you got Eckler out of Chargers. I mean, what are they going to do? And they have base. I mean, I think the Los Angeles Chargers have very boring wide receivers, and I think they need the nitro. They need a boost. So I have them taking the local product, Jordan Addison out of USC. I have him compared to somebody like Jeremy Maclin. I think he can make a lot of noise there.
Yeah, I mean, I like Addison. I mean, he's been a stud. He was actually previously at Pittsburgh with Pickett and had won the what's the best receiver award in college football. Yeah, won that. He went to USC and was a stud. I like him. I like him as one of maybe my favorite receiver in the draft. And going to the Chargers would make a lot of sense because the Greensboro native, what's his face? The receiver. Well, actually, both receivers have been banged up.
Slow. Michael Williams and Keenan Allen. They're tall, rangy, slow, boring players. Like Herbert's just pins the ball on them, and they don't break tackles or make big plays after the catch. And that's exactly what Jordan Addison is.
Yeah, he'll be a big play guy for them for certain. Well, let's talk a little bit about Baltimore Ravens. I mean, with everything kind of going on in the news, who you have them taking?
I think one of the NFL Combine's freaks, Nolan Smith. I mean, Georgia's just stupid. I mean, we can have an hour-long conversation about highest paid wide receivers and Georgia's defensive players. Like they had said, about half their starters run on defense. This is our linemen, defensive linemen, linebackers, not their corners and their safeties. They all run 4.5s. And this guy ran a 4.4. I mean, he's 230, 240. I mean, he can, and I think he's got the instincts. Nolan Smith could be a really hot name on draft day, and I wouldn't be shocked to see him be top 12, 13 picks.
Nah, I mean, he's a freak athlete. All those Georgia defensive players are freak athletes. I mean, sheesh. Yeah. I'd trade the Panthers right now for the Ohio State offense and the Georgia defense straight up.
Yeah, you'll be very wise, and you have a very good team.
Yeah.
So I have you compared to Devin White, and we got to get through these picks because a lot to talk about. I got the Minnesota Vikings, and this is a really controversial draft pick, and just hearing some rumors and things because they've been linked, and we were talking about this a couple minutes ago. Hooker, the Tennessee quarterback, they're looking to replace Kirk Cousins, from what I hear. I can't imagine that Hooker would go this high. The Tennessee quarterback, he's
Mm.
25 years old, coming off a major knee injury, and he had a good year, but he doesn't have a ton of college production. I just, he had one solid year. I just don't see that happening. So I had them taking a very comparable player to, the old Viking great Jared Allen, Lucas Van Ness out of the University of Iowa. He's a really interesting player. He's got a big motor like Allen, but the only thing I don't like about him when I was reading is they said he was never a full time starter there, but he had really good stats. But
Yeah.
you look at his physicality and he's just a big guy. He runs hard and he had a good combine. That's a guy I can't figure out, but he's a hot name in all the mock drafts.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of fits like, and as a tweener, as like a 4-3 defensive end and a 3-4 defensive end, kind of almost like JJ Watt, honestly. But we'll see. Hopefully, if he has half the career Watt has, like that'd be a great pick. But let's jump onto the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, I think if you're Jacksonville, they're building that offense, and they did some nice things last year. They got some momentum. What they need to do, because I mean, Lawrence got creamed last year. They got to improve the interior line, and I have a guard going here, and this guy's a man. He is huge. He's about 350, 360, and he's a really good lineman. So I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, we're getting later in the draft, but if I'm Jacksonville, I'm looking to secure something in the interior line. Maybe you overdraft here, get a guard or center or something, and do
Mhm.
something to help Trevor Lawrence. So I think Osiris Torrance here, out of the guard out of Florida, have him compared to somebody like Leonard Davis. I do think he's just a guy you can plug in there and start from day one.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to protect T. Law. I mean, dude, give him a chance. He could end up blossoming into like that big generational quarterback they were hoping. So, I mean, he's certainly improved over from year 1 to year 2. So year 3 could be even a bigger improvement.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I mean, Jacksonville's on the rise, so they're very interesting. They're going to be polarizing this year in fantasy football for a lot of owners.
Whew, sexy.
Next year, we got Curly's team, the Giants, the G-men. They're a really weird team. I like their coach a lot. I'm not huge on Jones. I'm not sold on him. I think he's very average, but there could be worse things. And we don't know what they're going to do with Barkley. Barkley's not going to sign a franchise tag. But I look at the Giants roster as a whole. Their wide receiver core, I think, right now is the worst in the National Football League.
Oh, they're garbage.
He probably knows that. So I have them looking at a wide receiver here. And this is another guy who I think is just a big time playmaker. And they talk a lot about him because you don't hear a lot of Boston College wide receivers making noise, but there's a lot of hype behind Zay Flowers and
Mm.
Santana Moss. But the Giants have got to get some explosion on offense and help Daniel Jones out.
Oh yeah, I mean, anybody at receiver right now would be a huge upgrade for the Giants. Definitely agree with that. I think pick 26 is the Dallas Cowboys, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite players in the draft, actually. And I think this guy, if they take him, I think he's going to kick Tony Pollard to the sideline and make him look like a fool. I think Jameer Gibbs out of Alabama, he is a game breaker.
Mm.
He just wasn't running behind a good line and on a good team. He's just got some moves. You watch his highlights, he's just got another gear and he hits it fast. I have him compared to Alvin Kamara. He's a little bit smaller, but he kind of fits the same role. He can do just about everything. And I think that actually you won't see Pollard put in the bench, but I think Gibbs will provide that extra spark that Ezekiel Elliott the last few years has not been able to provide, and that can be a great 1-2 punch. And
Yeah.
Jerry likes explosive players. He's going to make some noise in the draft. He's not going to draft boring.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think like him, Gibbs and Pollard in the backfield, that'd be huge, especially for Zeke, who Needs all the help he can get. Well, let's jump on to pick 27. Is that the Buffalo Bills?
Yeah, we got the Buffalo Bills here. Gattos' team. I don't think Darnell White. I had them taking a tackle here. He's a massive tackle as well. There's still a lot of big linemen in this draft.
Yeah.
But I do think Darnell Wright is, I think, one of the most underappreciated tackles in the draft. And I think it's more so because he's more of a right tackle, and teams specifically don't want to spend a high draft pick on a right tackle. But that's what he's going to be in the pro level. He's just a mountain of a man. He's about 6'6", 6'7", 350 pounds, and moves well. But he's really a strong, thick-bodied guy. And I have him compared to Marcus Cannon and DJ Fluker, but a little bit more athletic. And I think the Bills could, and they need somebody who can just kind of maul people and throw people around that right side. They need to start running the ball. The Bills can't run the ball, and they got to get somebody to help run. And Josh Allen's their best running back.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's funny. I heard something today like the Bills are living in a basement, no windows, because their championship window is closed. But I don't know if that's still the case or not. But they got to do something to give some life to that running game. I mean, bringing in an offensive lineman would be huge. Would be maybe something that they benefit from. But I wonder if they're going to somewhere later on in the draft take another running back because gosh, they need something back there, don't they?
I think what would happen there's a lot of interesting. I think the Bills are going to definitely go after a veteran. It depends on which one. There'll be so many trades, but I mean, if the Vikings cut Dalvin Cook, I mean, the Bills would be absolutely insane to not bring him in. That'd be great to see the brothers playing on the same team because I think Dalvin Cook's still got a year or two left.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's got a little juice left in the tank, that's for certain. Well, let's jump on to the Cincinnati Bengals at
The
28.
Bengals they're a great team. I mean, I tell you what, Joe Burrow, he's in my opinion, top 2 or 3 quarterback in this new generation of quarterbacks. I mean, I would take him and Mahomes and Herbert with I mean, that's an argument for all three, but I mean, Cincinnati, they're looking like winners. That's hard to say that, but they are. But the problem they really have is pass protection. Joe Burrow is not very mobile. He's a tall, big, strong arm quarterback. And if I'm looking at the best tackle there, I like this guy. I think he's out of BYU. He had a really good combine. His name's Blake Freeland. He's just a tall, rangy player. I think he's about 6'8", and he ran a really good 40, like 4'9", and he's got good measurables everywhere. But to me, I think that's a guy who's going to sneak into the first round. I think he could be a good player.
Yeah, no, it seems like every year, like when the last couple of years, I should say, the Bengals have gotten to the playoffs, Burrow just gets murdered out there. I don't even understand it. Like, because the Super Bowl run with the Bengals, like it was obvious you got to bring in offensive linemen, and they did bring in offensive linemen last year, but then they all got hurt by the time they got the playoffs.
They got to revamp and figure something out, and if they keep on. I mean, the next 2 years they draft linemen the first 2 rounds. You want to take your linemen high. They'll get it figured out. I think they will. Burrow throws it like 50 times a game, but it's weird. He throws the ball, doesn't stop throwing the ball, even if he gets sacked 6 or 7 times in a game. So, he's going to get cleaned one day. So they got to get some protection. I think they know that, and that's what they're going to do in round one.
I hear that. Well, pick 29. This is the New Orleans Saints. This has been passed around from a few different teams, actually.
It's pretty awful looking on paper. I can't, from San Francisco through Miami and Denver. I have this guy. I can't pronounce his name. I'll just pronounce his last name. Adebawore. That's the defensive end out, I guess, kind of like a defensive tackle, defensive end out of Northwestern. He's been a lot of talk on him. He had an amazing combine. Not a big name. His tape's really inconsistent, but he's got the size that you like, and he's got good strength, but he's really fast.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Saints are one of those teams. He just seems to be like one of those kind of Saints type of players to me. And they need to get somebody who can get to the quarterback because, I mean, the Saints they still got some talent there. I mean, I don't know what they are, and they lost Sean Payton. Who knows what they're going to do? Like that's a team. Shoot, what do you think the Saints are going to do in the draft?
It's a good question. I think going on defensive side would make sense. Where I don't know. I mean, like they still have talent, like you were saying, but they need some improvement. It's kind of like been dwindling or deteriorating the last 3 years, I'd say. They like when Breeze retired, like they had no quarterback succession plan. I mean, Jameis Winston, that was horrible. That was garbage.
He should be out of the league. He's garbage.
And like that to me wasted their window to maybe be absolutely, be in the mix. Michael John, not is it Michael Johnson, the receiver?
The guy from Ohio State again. I mean,
Michael
the guy,
Thomas. Michael
God,
Thomas.
he had some sick years, but he had that foot injury, and he
Yeah.
really hasn't played any football in 2 years. He
Yeah.
played a little bit last year, but God, when he was healthy, he was like probably the best wide receiver in football.
Yeah. Like I'll be honest, I could actually see them maybe going for like a pass catcher, and that includes tight end here.
Yeah, that's what tight ends are going to start to probably go. And I was thinking about the Notre Dame tight end, and there's another tight end out of like Utah or something. I mean, I get sick of looking at some of these tight ends because they're all about the same. They all are like 6'3" to 6'5", 260 pounds, and all run well. So it depends what kind of flavor you like.
Yeah. We'll be interested to see what the Saints do. Hopefully they don't do anything too well there in the Panthers division. Let's take a look at number 30, the Philadelphia Eagles.
The Eagles just, I mean, they got to replenish some of these players because they're going to lose more players next year. They got a really good window, and I think with the window that they have, they got a good pass rusher in this draft already. I think. We have them at. They're really high. They're at pick number 10. They have a defensive end and Tyree Wilson. So here I got them going on defense again because I think their offense is. They're going to put up points. They got Jalen Hurts signed up long term. I think they need to address the defense. I got them taking a cornerback. I think Deonte Banks. I think he's the cornerback out of Maryland, and I've read nothing but good things about him. I got him compared to Desmond Trufant. I think he's a plug and play starter day one.
No, it sounds. I mean, I definitely think they're going defense. It seems to be the side of the ball they lost the most players on, and defense wins championships. Even though they lost the Super Bowl, they came pretty close.
The teams are going to pass on you because you're going to put up points. You better get some good cornerbacks.
Yeah, especially if you're going to play against this next team coming up, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. When you're playing against Mahomes, you got to have good corners.
Yeah, I got the Chiefs. I mean, they got a lot of things. They're a very interesting team because I think their wide receivers are garbage. Their running backs really aren't that good. And their best player, Kelsey, is aging. I mean, he's got to be. I think he turns 35 this year. He's defying father time. So again, that's where you can see another tight end going. But I have him going after a safety / cornerback and another Georgia player, kind of a safe pick. But I've read a lot of things about Ringo being a kind of Kylie Ringo, the safety corner out of University of Georgia. I mean, it looks good on paper, but they said he's got some red flags. But I have no idea what the Chiefs are going to do. They have some weird. I mean, how do they win the Super Bowl with just a good tight end or a great tight end and everybody else is kind of and their defense? I mean, Christian Jones is amazing, but outside of Kelsey and Christian Jones and Mahomes, I'm like, man, they're amazing.
Well, I mean, with Mahomes, you trust, man. Like he can make wine out of water, or in this case, all pro receivers out of garbage. And that's what he pretty much did. I mean,
he even got Juju Smith paid big money, so he's got a lot of magic. He's garbage too.
Yeah, no joke. I don't know. I mean, they could. I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at receivers that are available there. I mean, I don't know if there's a receiver I'd rather take over a Ringo. They could just try to bolster up their defense. That's not the worst move either.
They got that wide receiver out of Tennessee and UNC, but I think that's too high for them. I think you're going to continue to see some, maybe 2 or 3 linemen, like a center starts going here, and you're going to see tight ends starting to fall off after 20. I bet you, it's just weird how the draft works out. I bet you see about 5 or 6 tight ends drafted round 2.
You might. I wouldn't be opposed if the Panthers took one. I know they like signed Hayden Hurst or whatever, but he's not anything. But we got about 3 minutes left. Are there any closing remarks you'd like to make?
Well, I think this is, Bears have a lot going on. Me being a huge Bears fan, but I think this is a dynamic draft with the Lamar Jackson, Rodgers thing still being in place, and these trade rumors. I mean, there's just so many big names being thrown out there and rumors, and there's some. I'm sure there's some moxie there. I just don't know what's going to happen, and I just think it's just going to be an insane draft. People, you're going to have a lot of aha or what in the world is going on kind of moments. I think it's crazy. We're going to be shaking our heads and laughing a lot.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to some like surprise trades. I'm reading or hearing it could all be smoke, but the Texans looking to trade back. They're not afraid. I'm like, does that mean like the rumors that Bryce Young going to the Panthers are true and they just don't like any of the other quarterbacks?
Yeah, I think that's true. I think Bryce Young is going there, and he's already canceled visits. I read that today. And if Houston's not getting Bryce Young and they take, let's say, Will Anderson there, and they just want to build that defense with their new defensive coordinator from San Francisco,
yeah.
Then the Colts have the third pick and they take Stroud or something. And what if they pass on Stroud? So what if quarterbacks start to fall a little bit? So it's just going to be crazy. I don't know what's going on this year. I can tell you that.
Quarterbacks start falling, panic at the disco for those guys, especially the guys like Levis and Richardson. I mean, if they don't get taken in my opinion, the first eight or nine picks, like, dude, they could experience a huge free fall.
I think Richardson could fall to the middle or late part of round one. I have heard rumors that the Colts prefer Will Levis over him. Mm-hmm. But again, smokes and mirrors. Who knows what's going to happen? But it's been a fun podcast. I like to hear what some of the league has to say because we don't really talk about real football as a whole, but that's what I really enjoy more than fantasy. And the draft's probably, it's a great event because there's not a whole lot of good sports going on. I mean, NBA draft or NBA playoffs, boring.
Boo.
Boo.
Well, I will sign off with this to our listeners. Don't forget, we're right and you're wrong. Tune in next time.
All right.